Hello, and welcome back to another iRWC video. Round 5 this week at Suzuka, skipping qualifying, going straight into the race. A sprint round this time around. We're going to get right into the action, get a decent start off the line. 20-minute first race and 40-minute second race. We're going to get up alongside Sam Muir going into turn 1. We're going to go round the outside into turn 1. He tries to get back at us up that inside, but we managed to get a better run and manage to get into P2 off the line. Very nicely done there. And just try and keep with Dylan Shepherd in front. We know he's a championship rival. We need to keep him in our grasp. This week was pretty good. We gained some points back on Ryan Bettis despite not getting a win, and Shep also, you will see in the end, towards the end, also had a bit of an incident, but overall another good round. Nothing too crazy going on. I am not a fan of Suzuka, as you will see later in this video. Just a track that doesn't really gel with me at all. There were a few points where in this first race I thought I might catch Dylan, but you'll see on these exits he just starts to pull away just ever so slightly as we're even 0.5 in front and 0.4 now behind to Sam Muir as we come into Spoon Corner for the first time this evening. And you can see a couple of puddles on the track as well as we get a little hairy and go a little bit deep and take it off track, bouncing over the curb and having to defend from Sam Muir behind. Spoon! And yeah, hearing my frustration there as I am really not happy with that corner. It is, yeah, I say it constantly, I just do not like Suzuka. Everywhere else is good other than Spoon, and I just can't get it right. But yeah, trying to keep with Dylan Shepherd there and keeping an eye on Sam Muir behind, taking the off track there on the inside, and the car was bouncing absolutely everywhere. Really tough track to drive. 0.7 now, the gap. Going forward to lap 6 now, you can see we've actually pulled a gap to Sam Muir, and 1.1 in front. Dylan eking out that gap even more. We go a little deep in Spoon, a little bit of a moment on the rear. We break into the second part of the corner, mentioning I hate Spoon again, and bouncing over the curb into the gravel, keeping it just out of the wall on the right-hand side, which allows Sam Muir, Angus Lawford, and Ellie Gardner to get back up to the back of us. But that was the end of the race. We managed to pull that gap again on Sam and Angus as they began to fight, and we managed to bring home P2. So points on Ryan Bettis, who I believe finished in P3rd? P12, there we are. And yeah, it was a pretty good race. On to race 2 now. We had an interesting one. We got quite lucky with some safety cars and a bit unlucky with others. A very interesting race, as it always is. These iRWC races are chaos, to say the least. Going green now, and we get going as we get a relatively good start. Again, getting Angus Lawford off the line. Jared, one of my mates, not getting a good start at all. We clear him well before the entry into 1. And once again, round the outside of Sam Muir on that inside, we are once again going to get a slightly worse run than we did in the first race. But on that inside, he has to concede, and we managed to get that move done. So 2 out of 2 races going around the outside of Sam Muir. You can't write that kind of stuff. It was very satisfying in the moment. Always satisfying to go around the outside, and Suzuka turn 1 and 2 is very nice place to do it. On the back of Dylan Gray now, we've gone up to P6 from starting P9, and trying to push our way through the pack as Dylan Shepherd, you can see 2 spots behind, right behind Sam Muir in this feature race, and we really need to be making the right decisions and keeping Dylan behind. Going into the hairpin now, and I will actually admit, for a while I thought this was Spoon Corner. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I didn't know the corners properly, but yeah, not very smart from a younger Dano, that's for sure. But we figured it out eventually as we're going to have a look up the inside of Dylan Gray. He goes a little bit deep in the corner. We showed our nose, and you can see he just gets on power a little early. He goes a little bit wide, getting over the curb and probably taking an off track, but managing to hold that speed. You can see an absolute gaggle of cars in front, and that is Ellie Gardner, Alex Sitkas, Scott Rankin, and Miles Burgess has absolutely left the field in front of us, and it's going to be a very, very close fight as we are right up the back of Dylan Gray coming on to lap 2 of the feature race. If you guys are enjoying the content, I do appreciate if you guys do give the video a like and subscribe. Comment down below if you guys want to see any officials or anything like that. And yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the content, as they have been quite fun to make. Into turn 1 now, you can see Dylan Gray getting a little bit hairy, that front end, trying to just get away from him now, as Miles is really pulling along Scotty Rankin, and it's just a train of cars going forward. Alex Sitkas doing an incredible job, the silver driver in P3 there, really putting the pressure on. Scott Rankin has a look up the inside in front of us, unable to get the move done, and they're going to be fighting very, very hard into the 2 Degners now. We're just going to be fuel saving, trying to do what we did at Jerez, and trying to make these moves work. Really, really difficult to get these moves done. Braking now into the corner. We just managed to sneak up the inside of Dylan Gray. 3 wide on the exit. Little bit of contact there with Dylan Gray. We've managed to get alongside. He's going to have the inside to the next corner. He's going to cover us off right onto the grass there, getting the nose out, but it was clean maneuver. You're absolutely allowed to do that. We're going to send him up the inside into Spoon Corner, put the anchors on, and manage to hold the position. Shep's going to follow us through. Lovely move from him. Get a little bit loose on the exit there, and we get a move done up into P5 on lap 2. On to lap 4 now, and we are right up the back of Ellie Gardner, closing down that gap. You can see she is hounding Alex Sitkas in front, really trying to get that move done, but she is also in the gold class. She is not going to want to give away any positions to us or Dylan, so she's going to have her eyes on her mirror, watching us behind, seeing what we can do. Another big fuel save there, trying to keep the pressure on while maintaining that fuel save. Shep is right up the back of us, putting the pressure on us. So it's a bit of a line there. You can see in the top right there, a line of 4 cars, and then 4 again behind us. So Bettis as well is leading that pack. So he's right behind Shep, and you have to think that that is going to come into play some point in this race, as we get a little bit loose on the exit of the curb there, as yeah, race control saying hold position. So we think there might be a safety car, and you will see in turn 1 we don't get the best of runs on Ellie through the last corner, unfortunately, but she is going to be right up the back of Alex Sitkas. She's going to go side by side. Shep is right behind us, 0.2 behind, very, very close, side by side into turn 1. We're going to brake normally, and Shep is going to launch one up our inside, trying to get that move done. A little bit of contact on the apex of the corner, but we're going to be able to hold that inside line, and he has to back out. And luckily for us, I knew we were going to have to defend that very, very hard, as the safety car comes out.
Yeah, fuck ya.
Expressing my disdain for that move into turn 1. I wasn't very happy about that. We were fuel saving on the in-lap, or what was the in-lap
Porsche Cup
for everyone else. 3 of us staying out, Scott Rankin, Ellie Gardner, and everyone else pitting on this first safety car.
Oh, it's not too early.
And yes, I had the realization after we had crossed the line and pit entry that was the right decision. So we have to hope that we get a second safety car, and hope we do. On the restart now, safety car in pit lane, we get up right up the back of Ellie Gardner, and we really need to extend this gap, fuel save as much as possible while extending the gap behind. And it's just going to be very difficult, because with this difference in strategy, it puts us on the back foot, because we still have to make a stop, and they can pretty much go to the end anyone who has stopped, as Ellie kind of lets us through. We're going to go around the outside, and we absolutely lose the rear, and Dylan Gray decides to just go up our inside, making no contact there, just looseness on these cold tires, and we're unable to get the move done. Pat Klein behind us now. You can see Dylan Gray in front getting very loose into the left-hander there and going very, very deep. Ellie now unleashed, going side by side with Scott in front. Very, very close, and we're going to be right behind Dylan Gray, trying to get back around him, having to do all that hard work again that we did in the opening 2 laps of this race. We're on lap 7 now, so it's been a little bit since the opening move, but it will be fresh in both of our minds. So he will know where I'm going to send it, and he will be expecting it. So Ellie Gardner going very, very deep into the hairpin there, and Scott Rankin just going around the outside, getting the move done. Or is he? Ellie's able to keep the position. She takes first place, and you can see Dylan holding us off there. We give him a little bit of a bump drive. He's going to cover that inside line, sitting perfectly in the middle there, but he's going to go a little bit deep. We're going to force our nose in the second part of the corner. We get about a quarter up the inside, and he goes very, very wide onto the gravel, loses a bit of the car, and we manage to sneak alongside and past him. Very, very nice move. Very aggressive. I will definitely say that. It was a very, very aggressive move. But whatever works, works. We need the points, so we have to do everything that we can to make these moves work. And you can see we're almost already back there. And yeah, Jack mentioning that he went 3 wide, as we have a look now of him going 3 wide on the back straight. Gets in between. That is Curtis Bird on the left. I'm not sure who it is on the right, but you can see he gets an absolutely mega run down the back straight and clears him before 130R. There's only one thing to say about that.
Nice.
On to lap 8 now. We are right behind Scotty Rankin and Dylan Gray 1.6 behind. So putting our eyes forward to Scott and really needing to hope for that safety car. And it'll be very soon that race control will mention hold there. And as soon as race control says hold there, if somebody's called it in over the radio and it hasn't been broadcast to us,
position 099.
there it is, hold position. And yeah, if it hasn't been broadcast to us, they're on all teams, which means they're just on the wrong channel. But race control can hear everything that is going on, and you can see where they're stopped on track, and the safety car comes out, and we get very lucky. And I'm very, very, very happy about that, because it saves us. And yeah, I go immediately to fuel saving, but that was actually the wrong choice. We should have been pushing on this in-lap, but it doesn't really matter too much as we come into the pits and go to take that fuel. And Ryan Bettis will inherit the lead to Alex Sikas, Sam Blacklock, Dylan Shepherd, Sam Muir, Lockie Capel, Angus Lawford. And we're just going to drop spots now. Jack in front as well, making a good move. I believe he ends up in P5 after this one. And we take enough fuel to get us to the end. Probably could have taken a little bit more. A lot of wheel spin on the exit. And Scott Rankin having a very fast stop there, clearing both Ellie and myself by a while. On the restart now, you can see us. We're down in P14 from the back of the field. And we're going to have to do quite a bit to get to the end, but thankfully we can push to the end of this race. So having to nail the restart, we know they're going green a lot earlier, and you can see Scott getting dropped there just a little bit as we get a decent run on Ellie in front of us. You can see she's going to go defensive into turn 1. We're going to hold that draft, get alongside, little tap as we get past, and breaking into turn 1. She just lets us go, knowing where the pace is, and I really do appreciate her doing that. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but it felt like she was letting us go, and I really, really appreciated it. Unleashing us forward to these cars. Focusing now on Scott Rankin. We know the cars in who pit first might have to do a bit of a fuel save, and we do not. We can go to the end on this tank, and we can push as hard as we want. Obviously, tires in mind. You can see we're lifting, and yeah, I just don't like Suzuka, man. It's just not a track that works for me. But Going into second, Degner. It is still in Shepherd off on the left-hand side.
Yep.
P4 and Sam Blacklock, P3, having an incident in front of us. I didn't actually catch what had happened there, but Scott goes deep into the hairpin. Commits an absolute murder and tries to hold it with us alongside into the sweeping right-hander and almost gets alongside, but does the smart thing, backs out. And I was waiting, getting ready to report that one, but he ends up sending a self-report later on in the race. Coming on to the back of Todd Suter now at the start of lap 12. You can see we are doing
actually going to win
quite
this
well
race
now, back up to P8.
and extend his damn
And
championship lead.
Todd
That's
is up
actually
18
insane.
spots, and we're really putting the pressure on the bronze driver. He's doing really well to get up those 18 spots into this top 10. And whether he'll be able to hold that or not does remain to be seen. But you can see the pressure mounting on him as he goes really deep into the left-hander out of the S's, and we manage to sneak up the inside and clear him well before Degner won. And we set our sights forward to Mr. Jack Wilkins, who was 3 wide earlier in this race. We are now right up the back on lap 15, so 3 laps to go according to the standings thing. Standings table, sorry. And we need to catch this pack in front. We need their draft, and we need to capitalize on any incidents that happen in front of us. Jack just doesn't have the pace, so you can see we're having a little look up the inside. He's very, very deep on the corner there.
Go, Jack!
Expressing a bit of disdain. He must catch them! Jack and I are really, really having fun with this series, and it was really fun to fight as we launch one up the inside, give him very minimal warning as there were 2 wide in front of us. Alex Sikas and Lockie Capel going side by side. We need to capitalize on this right now. On to lap 17, we obviously weren't able to capitalize on it too quickly, but on to the penultimate lap now, going through the S's. You can see Angus Lawford right up the back of Sam Muir. Sam Muir being our championship rival at the moment. We need to get in front of him to keep the points and get a bit more of a gap to him. You can see Angus a little bit slow. We're going to launch one up his inside into the second Degner. Clear him well before the apex. And I was really happy with that move. It's not done yet as he tries to have a look as we cover that inside line, having to go very slow into the hairpin, but get the move done very, very nicely up into P5 as we come on to the final lap now. Sam Muir in front, Alex Sikas, Lockie Capel. Anything can happen on the last lap. We know everyone gets just that little bit more aggressive, so you can see Alex Sikas almost having a look at Lockie Capel in front. Sam Muir just trying to follow through. He knows what we can do behind. He knows we've got a bit of pace on him, but we've all been so evenly matched. We were the quickest car on track that last lap. Ryan Bettis actually going with a 2:03.5, so with his pace that he was setting out the front, he was actually going to take us an extra lap, and obviously didn't have that fuel, so he dropped the pace right off to allow us all. Sam Muir goes really deep, missing the turn in there. We get right up the back of him, and he will know, given the last lap, that we were able to send it up that inside. He's going to cover that inside line into Degner 1. We're unable to get the move done. I think about having a look, but you can see he covers it off very nicely, getting prepared for us to go up that inside. We get a much better run out of Degner 2, going into the hairpin. He's going to cover off that inside line. We make a little bit of contact, trying to go round the outside, a little bit of contact once again on the apex, and he manages to keep the position. We have to do anything that we can. I wanted to do anything to get around Sam, and it just, nothing was presenting itself. That was where I thought it was going to be over. I thought this was it. We're going to have a look up the inside. He's going to cover us off, trying to get any kind of move done. Out of Spoon Corner. We lose the rear just a little bit, having to catch a little bit of a slide. Hyping myself up there, yelling at myself, getting ready to try a last gasp effort into the hairpin. We've got Angus Lawford behind, ready to capitalize on anything that happens in front. Alex Sikas as well, holding on. Sam goes a little bit wide. We're going to break on the racing line. We get alongside into the corner, down to first gear, and we manage to get the move done on the last corner of the last lap. Very, very happy
gained
with that,
points
and
on
we
Sam.
managed
Oh, what a move.
to get P4 in the feature race after a unfortunate strategy call.
Oh, Alex
We
done a
managed
crazy
to keep the
drive there.
position. A really good
Great
drive from
drive,
Alex Sickas. And yeah, a really, really good race
Thank you,
in the
Daniel.
end there. Really fun. Taking a look at the standings now, and Ryan Bettis stays on 853 points as the league has applied the drop rounds for this season. So the bottom 2 races have been removed from the totals. We managed to claw some points back on Ryan Bettis, ending up with a 66-point deficit to P1 and 46 behind Dylan Shepherd. Angus Lawford behind us, managing to jump Sam Muir. It is very, very tight all the way down to P5. Anyone can win this series, but Ryan Bettis is really proving himself as the driver to beat. Hopefully, we can do it in the next round. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I will catch you guys later.